Hello all and welcome to All Red. Well, the 23-24 season is officially over for Liverpool, and I wanted to break down 6 things I didn't like and 6 things I liked about the 2023-2024 Liverpool season. So let's jump right in. I'm going to start with the 6 things that I hated. 6 things I hated about this season, just to get the negativity out of the way, and then we can look at the 6 things I liked. So, the first thing that I hated from this season was always playing from behind. I'm sure if you followed Liverpool this season, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because it seemed like every single match we were conceding first and having to play from behind, which we did a lot, and we did successfully a lot, but it was not ideal. I did a little math, and I did a little counting. Out of the 58 matches that Liverpool played this season, we conceded first in 23 of them, okay? I'm going to do some more math real quick and give you a percentage on that. That is 40%. 40% of our games we were playing from behind. 40% of our games we were playing from behind. That is not good. And that is not sustainable. And eventually it caught up with us. And we just couldn't keep doing that. So that was not good. I think maybe 7 or 8 of those we were conceding in like the first 10 minutes of the game. I'm sure you remember those games. I remember them. It was like 2nd minute goal, 3rd minute goal, 7th minute goal, 9th minute goal for the other team. And it was like I started expecting it. It was like, this is going to happen. Sure enough, okay, there it is. Got the first goal out of the way, and then we could come back and win 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. But just not the way to do it. If you have title aspirations. All right, that's number 1. Number 2. Kind of goes along with this, but just a lack of clean sheets this season. We conceded a lot of goals, and we just, didn't have, I think, our typical, with Virgil van Dijk, Konate, Alisson, just didn't have very many clean sheets at all this season. I'll just run through them real quick. We had clean sheet versus Aston Villa, then it was a clean sheet versus Everton, Nottingham Forest, Brentford, Sheffield United, Manchester United, which was a 0-0 draw, Burnley, Bournemouth. I mean, you're seeing a trend here. These are like some of the worst teams in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest again. That's it, except for the Wolves game yesterday on the last day of the season. In the FA Cup, it was Southampton and Arsenal. We didn't have a clean sheet in the EFL Cup until the final against Chelsea. And then in the Europa League, USG, LASK, and the Atalanta game, which meant really nothing because we were down 3-0. So that's it. And that's pretty pathetic. We just let in a ton of goals this season. 64 goals conceded across all competitions. That's a lot of goals. That is a lot of goals to let in. So, no bueno. No bueno. All right, number 3. So, always playing from behind, lack of clean sheets. Number 3, maybe my most hated thing from this season was just the inability to finish. We could not put the ball in the back of the net. It was insane. Sometimes it was absolutely insane how allergic we were to scoring. And of course, you can point fingers at Darwin Núñez because he was chief waster in front of goal. But really it was a team effort. There were a lot of players that were wasteful. Even Mo Salah at points. Jota was not. Jota was good. But Jota was injured. Szoboszlai, Gakpo, Diaz, really, probably everyone but Jota was wasteful, and that was not fun to watch. It was not fun to watch. And that's probably like, our defense was weak. And Queven Kelleher, I think, bailed us out quite a bit. And I remember saying, like, midway through the season, like, is our defense actually good? Because I feel like we're getting really lucky. Like, Queven Kelleher was making ridiculous saves every single game. A lot of times he was, like, saving a surefire goal in the first 2 or 3 minutes of each game. So defense is obviously something we need to fix. Our finishing is interesting because I'm trying to think, like, was this just an anomaly of a season, or do we need to, like, retool our front line? And I still have hope for Darwin Núñez. I really do. But it's, that's a big issue. Like, if you're creating all these chances, and we had so many chances. I mean, just think back to, like, I think back to the Manchester United game. I think the first time we played them in the Premier League this season, we had like 36 shots on goal or something like that. It's like ridiculous. Like everything is there except for the finishing, except for putting the ball in the back of the net. And that's concerning to me. So Mina like that. Okay, I just mentioned it. These last three are like kind of like smaller issues for me, but number 4 is just the inability this season to beat Manchester United. They were so trash. And I think even the Manchester United fans would agree with that. And the fact that we couldn't beat them in the Premier League when it was like we were licking our chops. Every time we played them, it was like we should crush them because they were awful and we were in great form. And we couldn't do it. We couldn't beat them. 2 draws and a loss. They kicked us out of the FA Cup and really just kind of ended all the momentum that we had. So that was a huge disappointment. And then I'll tack a second one. So 4B is the loss to Everton, which was just a ice pick to the heart. Really bad. All right, number 5, injuries. This was a season full of injuries. And, at the same time, it was really impressive what we were able to do in the midst of all the injuries, the AFCON stuff, the Asian Cup of Nations, or whatever that's called, the Asian Cup. It was like, at one point we were starting, half the team was 21 and unders because we just didn't have the players. So that was no bueno. Didn't like that. At the same time, there's one thing I loved, which came out of that. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, last thing I hated was the very, very clear referee bias, and I'll say VAR bias as well towards Liverpool. It was clearer than ever before. And I don't need to list off all the atrocities from this season, but if you think back to the beginning of the season, let me just recount this for you because it's incredible, just very incredible. Second game of the season against Bournemouth, McAllister, red card. Very next game, Van Dijk, red card. Do I even need to mention the Tottenham game? 2 red cards, Jones and Jota, and like 50,000 other yellow cards. We also had, Konate, red card versus Arsenal. It was insanity. The amount of red cards, and then, of course, the amount of terrible decisions. And all of that, I think, was the pinnacle of all just atrocities. The worst call in the history of the game, which was the Diaz offsides call that VAR couldn't have botched more. The bias this season was at new levels. And I don't want to make this about Man City, but it's just incredible how they never, ever have issues with refereeing. I mean, can anyone think of a major refereeing or VAR decision that has gone against Man City. Do I need to bring up the Doku studs up challenge on McAllister in the box? Do I need to bring up the basketball dribble that Arsenal was doing against Liverpool? It's just incredible. Like it was really actually disheartening this season because it was kind of like, this is not getting better. This is getting worse. And I don't know how you compete against that. I really don't. Because it's just bad. I mean, it's just bad for the game. It's bad for fans. There's no belief. I mean, all integrity, I think, is gone. It's just bad. So, okay. So I'm going to leave it at that for the negativity. We're cutting off the negativity. We're going into 6 things I loved about Liverpool this season. All right, number 1, our midfield is stacked. Our midfield is so stacked. Definitely the strong point of our team right now. And just in looking at who we have going into next season, it's hard to see like how everyone gets playing time. Because you've got fringe guys, and I'll say fringe because it's like, you know, guys that you typically wouldn't put into your everyday starting 11. These fringe players are really good. Guys like Harvey Elliott. And I'm not trying to offend anyone by saying Harvey Elliott is a fringe player. A fringe midfielder in Liverpool's team is a really good midfielder. You've got guys like Harvey Elliott, Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, now Bajcetic. I got to figure out how to say that. Bajcetic. I like saying it like that. You know, guys like Szoboszlai, McAllister. Szoboszlai, I know, had a rough second half. But those guys you would expect to be like, okay, those guys should start when healthy and when on form. But what do you do with Curtis Jones? What do you do with Gravenberch? What do you do with Bajcetic? What do you do with Endo? Like, you've got a lot of really good midfielders, and that's good. That's good for business. Because that's a part of the team that's always going to need a lot of depth. But I don't know how you get in all those players. Arne Slot's going to come in, and he's going to want to play these youngsters too that we've got coming in. And I don't know how you get all those players in. Hopefully we've just got a lot of fixtures next year with the EFL Cup, FA Cup, Champions League. I mean, there's going to be a lot of demand. So that's good. That's good for business. All right, number 2, young talent. We've got incredible young talent in our team. It was encouraging. I mentioned previously about the injuries and the AFCON, the Asian Cup. Liverpool showed this season that our future is bright. We don't even need to go out and buy a ton of players, because the Liverpool Academy is churning and burning. And we've got some really, really good players coming through. James McConnell, Cade Gordon, Trey Naoni. Naoni's 16, guys. Naoni's 16. And he got some playing time. Jayden Danns, okay? We don't need to talk about Jayden Danns. And, of course, Connor Bradley, who was a regular player for, the time where Trent and Robbo were out. He could start. He could very well start. And then, Ben Doak. Ben Doak was looking, he just looked really good, really dynamic. Didn't always play very well, but you could see the pace and the power were there up until he got injured. Bajcetic, too, is still very young. And then, Bobby Clark, Kumas, Lewis Kumas had a couple really good games. Jayden Danns could very well be, the future of our front line. And then, just look at the, Liverpool v. Chelsea, the final this year. And, the lineup that Liverpool strutted out. Let me just read this for you. Connor Bradley started at right back. And then you had Bobby Clark, James McConnell, Jaden Dans, and Kwanzaa come in. Don't forget about Gerald Kwanzaa. He's a youngster. I think he's 21 or 22. And you had Luis Kumas and Trey Neone on the bench for that game. And, of course, Liverpool win. They won their 8th trophy under Klopp with half the team, being near teenagers. So really good stuff, really good stuff. Lots of young talent. And it's incredible to think of where Liverpool could be in 5 to 10 years with these players coming through who are already getting first-team football in their late teens and early 20s. All right, number 3, Liverpool proved that they are late-game magicians. Now, we don't always want to be late-game magicians as often as we needed to be this season. But there were some magical moments this season that we will not quickly forget. I think about the 4-3 Fulham win that Liverpool, just had some ridiculous goals in that game. Just absolute worldies. I think still my favorite game of the season, besides the cup win, was the 2-1 win against Newcastle, where Darwin Núñez came in with a 10-man Liverpool side and scored 2 goals to pull off one of the best comebacks we've seen in many, many years for Liverpool. There were others, and again, we don't want to be the team that always has to come from behind, the team that always has to win in the final 10 minutes of a game, but we proved that we can if we need to. The belief is there. And that's important. That's important for any team that wants to win trophies, because over the course of a 9-10 month season, it's just inevitable that you're going to need to produce magic at certain points to win games and to possibly win games that you may not have, probably should have. So other late game, not winners, but tires, drawers. The 95th minute for Luis Diaz against Luton Town. Trent scoring against City in the 80th minute. Things like that. Trent also scoring in the 88th minute to win against Fulham after Endo scored in the 87th minute. Harvey Elliott against Crystal Palace in the 91st minute. And, a couple more. Jota against Burnley, even though we were already one up. Jones and Gakpo in the final 15 minutes against Newcastle. And actually, Salah had a 86th minute pen there. So just a lot of encouraging magic from the team this season. And that's good. That's good. We want to see that. We were definitely a second half team this year. And I think that's good. I think there's a lot of belief. There was never a game where, up until, the horrific run in the last two months of the season, last month and a half, there was never a game where we were like, oh, we're completely out of this, because we were just constantly coming back and winning these games that maybe we shouldn't have been winning, but we did. All right. Number 4, we won a trophy. Hey, it's the EFL Cup, probably the least of all 4 competitions we were in, but we did it, and the way we did it was magical with the youngsters. Klopp's teenagers, Klopp's babies, beating the $1 billion bottle jobbers. It was good. Anytime you win a trophy, it's a good thing. So that was really encouraging. And just to be able to win a trophy in Klopp's final year. We would have liked 3 more, but the way that he was able to do it, I think, was one of his best accomplishments at the club. Just the way that he did that. Amazing. All right. This one's not super duper awesome, but we really only had 4 bad games, really bad games this season. And, it's it is what it is. I'll say the Arsenal 3-1 loss was a bad game. That was kind of the first time it was like we were human. Obviously, we lost to Tottenham. We shouldn't have. But that was the first time where it was like, okay, that's not good. The Everton 2-0 loss was horrific. There's probably more than 4, actually, because the Crystal Palace 0-1 loss was bad, too. And then the loss to Man U in the FA Cup was pathetic, and then the 3-0 loss to Atalanta was garbage. So maybe 5. We'll say 5. 5 bad games, like really bad games. Like we had other bad games where we drew, but those were like the really bad games. 5 really bad games across 58 matches. Okay. I could live with that in a rebuild year, to be honest. You tighten things up a little bit, get rid of 2 or 3 of those bad games, and things look a lot different. So that's number 5. Number 6, I think just the talent that we saw this year, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players that I kind of picked out that I was really encouraged by this season, and I'll just start to name them off. Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think this season, we already knew he was really, really good. I think this season, when healthy, he proved that he is world class. His ability to not just play right back and assist and spray the ball around the field, but his ability now to score goals. He had some amazing goals this season. I think about the free kick goals he had, and I think about the goal he scored against Man City on the biggest stage. I mean, it's like this guy has arrived, and I'm excited to see what Trent can do in Arne Slot's system. I don't know where he's going to put him, but Trent's got to be one of the first names on the team sheet. He's just loaded with talent. The second guy is Alexis McAllister. Our signing of the season, for sure. Maybe the signing of the season in the Premier League because of how much we spent on him. Alexis McAllister is really good, and now he is the anchor of our midfield. And he's proven talent. He's durable, and he was just our ever-present kind of our best player all season. Didn't have an amazing first 2 months or 3 months of the season, and then just steadily got better and better and better and better, especially with Endo coming up to speed and allowing McAllister to play further forward. He is a gem, and we stole him. Absolutely stole him from Brighton. Another guy, number 3, Jota, just a good finisher. If all of our front line were able to finish like Diogo Jota, we'd have a few more trophies this season, I think. He's clinical. Anytime he's on the field, we believe we can score at any time. And I think a full season. If Jota can stay healthy a full season, Liverpool are exponentially more dangerous because he's really good. He's really, really good. Jarell Kwanzaa burst onto the scene this season, and I don't think anybody expected him to be as good as he was. And you know what? Even though it didn't really matter at the end of the season, him getting 2 Premier League goals, it's just sweet. It's a great little, push of energy and momentum for him going into really his second season as a first teamer. Kwanzaa's great. Jarell Kwanzaa's great. And definitely having a central defender like that, as young as he is, it's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Hard to come by in today's game. But we've got a gem in young Jarell Kwanzaa. All right, Connor Bradley. Connor Bradley's another one. He had some ridiculous games, especially early on this season when he needed to come in with Trent gone, with Robbo gone. Connor Bradley's a real talent, and just another one of those youngsters who's come through the academy and has a very bright future. Very excited. And I think he is the key that might unlock Trent Alexander-Arnold, because we've got another starting right back in Connor Bradley, which is just incredible to say, because Trent Alexander-Arnold is world class. And Connor Bradley might not be that far behind him. All right, Wataru Endo, great signing. I mean, just super cheap, and what he was able to do this season for large parts of the season was great. And I think he'll be an excellent squad player here for the next year or two or three. I don't know if he's quality enough to be our starting number 6. I think there's help needed there in the team, but Wataru Endo filled his role really well this season and allowed our midfield, especially Alexis McAllister, to do what they need to do. So really good stuff from Endo. The last player I've got on here, and not that these are the only players that I thought had a good season, but just really encouraged by these. All right, the last name on this list, Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott. Do you know how old Harvey Elliott is? I'm just going to see if he's had a recent birthday. He hasn't. He just turned 21 years old in April. Harvey Elliott is really good, okay? He could very well be a starter for Liverpool next season as a 21-year-old. I'm always shocked to remember how old this kid is, because it seems like he's been playing in the Liverpool first team for 10 years, which he hasn't, okay? He hasn't been playing in the first team since he was 11. Harvey Elliott's really good, and he just got better and better and better as this season progressed. There was a point in the season where he was an impact sub, super sub, as it were. He'd score some late goals coming in. And then towards the end of the season, Klopp started him, and he didn't disappoint. Harvey Elliott is a really good player. And it's just weird to think that he's part of that young core, that 21 and under. He could be the leader of that squad someday that's got, Jayden Dans, Kumas, Kwanzaa. He could be that leader because he's been here and he's been doing it longer than any of those other youngsters. So Harvey Elliott, big future ahead for him. Very encouraged by him. So that's it. The 6 things I didn't like, the 6 things I hated, and the 6 things I loved. Real quick, the 6 things I loved. Our new midfield is stacked. Our young talent is incredible. Late game magicians, okay? We don't really want to be that, but we were that, and the belief is there. We won a trophy. We only really had 5 really bad games this season, which is, And number 6, our top players, really encouraged by some of our top players and our young players this season. So that's it. More to come. We've got a lot to talk about as we debrief from this season, Klopp's final season, and we shall do that here in the days and weeks ahead. But, hey, just wanted to say a quick note. Really appreciate all the support we've been getting on the All Red channel. It's been amazing. We're near 1,000 subscribers now, which is just incredible. So huge thank you to all of you who subscribe, who watch, who comment. This has been super duper fun, and we're just getting started. As always, it's up the Reds. Thanks for watching this All Red clip. If you liked the video, click the like button and comment below. Let me know something about whatever it is you want to say. And, of course, consider joining the All Red community by subscribing to this channel. It's fast, it's easy, it's free, and it's all red. And you're welcome to stay here and keep watching this video as long as you like. But I actually need to go. So, thank you. I'll see you later.